Hey kids, come on forward for our children's talk. Any youth who'd like to come forward, you're very welcome as well. Bring your streamers. Come on down.
Yeah. All right, can you scooch over there for a little bit? I'm going to sit between you. All right. So today, we're going to tell the story of the first ever Pentecost, and I'm going to need help telling the story. So every time that, when I'm telling the story, when I say, "Come, Holy Spirit, come," everybody has to wave along with me, with your wavers. And then the choir is also going to help me because there'll be some points in the story when we have to refer to some noise that happened on the first Pentecost. And I'll tell the choir when to join me in doing this. When I do this, you do that. Okay? So the first Pentecost happened very shortly after the very first Easter season. And we know that in the very first Easter season, Jesus died on the cross, and he was buried in a tomb. And then, miracle of miracles, he resurrected. He rose from the dead. And during the time that he had risen, he encountered the disciples many times, and he talked with them, and he taught them things. And one of the things that he taught them was that he wanted them to go into the world and spread the good news that he was alive. So that's where we pick up the story of the first ever Pentecost. So Jesus' friends, the disciples, were all gathered together, and they were remembering what Jesus had told them before he went to be with God in heaven. Jesus had said, "Go to Jerusalem, go and wait. Soon the Holy Spirit will come and give you all great power. You have an important job to do for God. Go and wait. Come, Holy Spirit, come." So Jesus' friends were praying together. No, not yet. Jesus' friends were praying together. They were singing praises to God together, and they were waiting together. Come, Holy Spirit, come. Suddenly, a great noise started outside of the room, and it became louder and louder, and it sounded like the rushing of the wind. And everyone was looking around so surprised. The noise got louder and louder. Come, Holy Spirit, come. So the friends of Jesus were looking around. They thought they knew what the noise was, but they weren't quite sure. All at once, something even more surprising happened. What looked like tongues of fire landed on their heads. Come, Holy Spirit, come. Everyone in the room became filled with the Holy Spirit. They could not stay in the room any longer. They rushed out into the streets of Jerusalem. They just had to tell everyone what had happened. Come, Holy Spirit, come. They went out into the streets, and there were people in the streets from all over the world, and they spoke many different languages, just like at St. Clement's. But imagine their surprise, because all of a sudden, they could hear what the disciples were saying to them in their own languages. Everybody could understand what everyone else was saying, even if they spoke different languages. Come, Holy Spirit, come. And then Peter stood up, and he gave everyone a very important message. He shouted it above all of the noise, and these were very important words said for the first time on the first Pentecost. He said, "People of Jerusalem, do not be surprised that you can understand us, because God has sent the Holy Spirit. We are followers of Jesus, Jesus who is the Son of God. You will remember that the leaders of this city put Jesus to death. Well, I have news for you. On the third day after he was killed, God raised him back to life. We are witnesses to these marvelous acts of God. We saw Jesus die. We saw Jesus after he was raised from the dead. Jesus is alive. Jesus is gone back to live with God. Jesus has sent the Holy Spirit to us so that we can share this good news with you. Come, Holy Spirit, come. So that's the story of the first Pentecost. And now we're going to go downstairs and make Pentecost pizza, what I call Pentecost pizza. And that's because when we make the pizza, we'll pretend that the crust is the city of Jerusalem, where everybody gathered. We'll pretend that the tomato sauce that we put on our pizza is all of the people who were gathered in Jerusalem. We'll pretend that the 12 pieces of pepperoni we put on each pizza is one of the disciples. And then we'll pretend that the slices of red, orange, and yellow peppers that we put on the pizza are the flames of the Holy Spirit. And then you need cheese for a pizza. Sorry to the vegans in the crowd. And we'll pretend that the cheese is the common language that was brought by the Holy Spirit. So that's what Pentecost pizza is. So, and everyone else, we'll try not to eat all the pizza so everybody can be filled with the Holy Spirit. And Pentecost pizza at the end of the service. All right, so let's head downstairs.